Hello, and welcome to the Daily Try, the daily podcast that supports you on your fertility journey. My name's Lara. This is episode 12. This is my fourth time trying to record this episode because the microphone battery died twice. The thing just decided to switch off on its own once. It's just like, what the? Does it have to be this hard? Well, today I'm going to talk to you about when friends and family just don't get it. And I think this is one of the hardest parts of a fertility journey is the isolation that comes when the people closest to you just don't understand what you're going through. And I've been on both sides of the fence here. Before I did IVF, before I tried to conceive, I had friends that were going through it and I wasn't as supportive and as kind as I could have been, I know, because I didn't understand everything that goes into it. She just said, "Oh, we're doing the egg harvesting." And I just was just like, "Oh, well, if you don't get it, you just go and do it again, don't you?" And it was just like, well, I guess, but she did not take that well. And it was very flippant, offhanded comment. I don't think he said it exactly like that, but I didn't know everything that goes into that. I just thought you rocked up and it happened. I didn't know that you had to take all these injections, go to the doctors, get monitored, have all these ultrasounds. And then once I did go through it, I realized that, yeah, it's there's a lot of stuff that goes into it that people outside just who haven't been through it just don't understand. And and I think that they mean well, and I know I did when I was talking to my friend. I was like trying to be positive. Well, if it doesn't happen this time, you can always go again, kind of thing. But that's not actually really what you want to hear, is it? You want to hear you. I don't know really what you want to hear, but you want support, and you want someone to say, you know, I'm here for you. The other person doesn't know if it will happen or not because no one knows if it's going to happen or not because everyone's body reacts in a different way. But people that mean well, they'll often say stuff like, just relax and it will happen. Or have you tried not thinking about it? And it's kind of like, well, if it was that easy, do you not think I would have done that already? Because it's not that easy. And everyone's body's different. Everyone's body reacts differently to the drugs. We don't know what everyone's body's been through in terms of exposure to microplastics, genetic things that have been passed down, whether it's emotional stuff, because we now know that things like PTSD can be passed down through the generations, through the fetus, whether it's, physical things, whether it's hormone levels, whether it's your body just not liking something. There's so many things it can be that people just don't, they're not doctors. Even the doctors don't know. They can't say, if you do X, I will guarantee you a baby. No one knows. So basically, all these people are trying to be kind and trying to be helpful, but it it doesn't feel like that. It feels like they're being dismissive, or sometimes it's quite painful, or they're just being clueless, and you're just like, no, you just don't get it. And when you try and explain to them how hard it is, they minimize it without realizing because they don't have the frame of reference to understand that it isn't just about wanting a baby. Ultimately, that's your end goal, but it's also about identity and grief, uncertainty, medical procedures, hormones, money, relationships, and hope that has to be rebuilt over and over and over again. I know when all the way while I was growing up, years and years, once I became an adult, people would tell me repeatedly, "You're going to make such a great mum." And I would have heard that so many times. So I always thought I would be a mum and always thought that would happen. And so it was part of my identity. And it was just something, you never feel as old as you feel. And then, I tried to get pregnant and it just didn't happen. And so it's not just the not having a baby, it's the whole, that's your identity that you've been led to believe is part of you. And if it's not going to happen, that's kind of changes everything you believe about yourself. So it's more than just getting pregnant. And then you've got the stress around the money and the stress around the relationships and all of the ups and downs. So you don't need to educate everyone, and you don't owe anyone an explanation of your journey. And for me, that was hard as well, because when I decided to do IVF, I had a close friend who I've been friends with for about 12 years. We've been through quite a lot of stuff, and she was married, she had a child through IVF, and she didn't understand why I was doing it. She just did not understand. And she just, whatever I said, she just didn't get it, and she wasn't willing to see that it was something I wanted to do. And as a result, we fell out, and we're still not friends. And that was a really close friend. So even if people have been through the same thing, it doesn't necessarily mean that they get your situation. It's difficult. And I don't want it to sound like, oh, it's a real dampener and everyone's going to, like, not be friends with you, but all I'm saying is that for me, that was really upsetting. And I kind of thought she would get it, and she didn't. So, but I think you have to be really careful about who you opened up to and who you choose to share stuff with, because you need to protect your energy, both your emotional and your physical energy, because you need it for this journey. And if you have one person who really gets it, lean into that relationship. For me, it was, I had a couple of friends that were going through IVF who just really got it, and they understood all the stuff. And then I had another friend who didn't have children, but she was very, very supportive. And it's finding that relationship. And if you don't have that person, or if your partner is not being as supportive as you'd like, you can find people through online communities or in-person groups where people understand instinctively without you having to explain anything. And I know when I go out and chat to people about what I do, every single time someone comes up and tells me about their journey of trying to get pregnant. There is a lot of people out there, but they just don't talk about it. So it's something that you can find people that are willing to want that support and want that relationship. And really, you just really deserve to be understood, because you need that support when you're going through this. And it starts first with finding your people, and finding the people that you connect with and that you like. And not everyone is going to be your person. And I would look at, there's a lot of online fertility groups, where you can comment, and you can say, oh, I'm looking for someone to talk about this and this. And it doesn't mean you have to talk to them forever. Have one conversation. If you get on with them, then keep chatting, and if you don't get on with them, then just say, look, that was great, but it's not really what I'm looking for, or it's not who I want to be, or who I want to hang out with at the moment. And there's ways to do it and find those right people. So today, I think it's all about, if your friends and family don't get it and you're struggling, then try and find someone who does, someone who's been through it or is going through it. And if you have any questions, pop them in the comments below. And I'd love to help if you've got any other things that might be on your mind. In the meantime, I will be back tomorrow. And here is a massive hug, and have a wonderful day.